Welcome back to the deep dive. So let's be honest for a second. If you've been in the AV world for any amount of time, you know all about the HDMI cliff.
Oh, yeah. It's that moment of dread.
It is. You buy a brand new 4K TV, you run this 50-foot cable through the walls, you plug it in, and what do you get?
Nothing. A black screen, maybe some flickering if you're lucky.
If you're lucky. It's the classic copper curse. Physics is just not on your side when you try to push that much data so far.
You just hit a wall, the signal degrades, and that beautiful home theater you planned is just a very expensive, very dark mirror.
So, of course, we look for solutions. And today we're digging into one of them.
Yeah.
The Key Digital KD X444SP extender set.
Right.
Its whole mission is to extend a full 4K 18 gigabit signal up to 50 meters.
That's about 164 feet for those of us who don't think in meters.
And all over a single, simple CAT5e or CAT6 cable.
Which is a really bold claim. We're not just talking about getting some picture across the room. We're talking 18 gigs per second. That's the gold standard for 4K at 60 hertz.
Okay, but let's pause there because honestly, I look at the math and I'm a little skeptical. You have this fire hose of data 18 gigabits.
A fire hose.
And you're trying to jam it down what is basically a garden hose, a CT5e cable. I mean, usually that just ends in failure. So how are they actually pulling this off?
That's the key question. You're correct. Standard Ethernet chokes on that kind of raw data. It just caps out way lower. So what Key Digital uses is something they call visually lossless compression.
See, that word compression, that makes me nervous.
I get it.
For listeners who are, obsessed with pixel-perfect quality, compression sounds like you're going to get artifacts or lag or washed-out colors. Is there a catch?
It's a valid concern, but the engineering here is really smart. This isn't just like a heavy-handed compression that crushes everything.
Okay.
The tech only even kicks in when the signal goes above 10.2 gigabits per second.
Yeah.
So for your standard HD stuff, it's just passing it through natively. It only activates for that really high bandwidth 4K.
So it's smart about it. It shrinks the package just enough to get it there, but it unpacks it perfectly on the other side.
Essentially, yes. It uses a specific algorithm designed so the human eye can't perceive the difference.
And what about things like HDR, high dynamic range? Because if I lose all my contrast and bright highlights, the 4K resolution doesn't help me much.
Nope, that's covered. The specs list full HDR10 support, so you keep those lifelike images. It also supports deep color, up to 12-bit, and this is critical, it's HDCP 2.2 compliant.
Ah, the digital handshake. I've had so many setups fail because an extender was on an older version and Netflix or a Blu-ray just said, nope, not playing.
Exactly. HDCP is the security guard at the door. If your extender doesn't have the right credentials, the source just cuts the feed. This keeps that whole chain happy.
Okay, so the signal inside the cable is solid. What about the mess outside the cable? These extender kits are usually a pain because you need a power brick at the source and another one behind the TV.
And that completely ruins the clean, wall-mounted look.
It does.
Well, that's where flexible power over CAT, or POSI, comes in. It's a huge deal for installers. You only need one power adapter for the whole system.
Wait, so I can plug the power supply in at my equipment rack, and it sends power up the Ethernet cable to the little receiver box behind the screen.
Precisely. Or you could do it the other way around if your setup makes more sense that way. It just cleans everything up. Plus, the units themselves are super slim, less than an inch thick. You can hide them anywhere.
I want to circle back to reliability, because we've all been there. Everything works for 10 minutes, and then the screen starts to flicker or just goes black. The notes mention a full buffer system. Is that just marketing talk?
No, it's very real. And it tackles the three biggest headaches in AV: EDIDE, HDCP, and TMDS.
Whoa, that's a lot of acronyms. Can you break that down for us?
Sure. Think of it like a conversation. ED is the TD, saying, hi, I'm a 4K display. HDCP is the security check. And TMDS is the actual flow of data. On long cable runs, that conversation gets messy. The full buffer system acts like a translator and a manager. It ensures the handshake happens correctly so devices don't get confused, and it reclocks the TMDS signal.
Reclocks, what does that mean? Like a drummer getting the band back on beat?
That's a perfect analogy. Long cables cause signal jitter, the timing gets off. This cleans it up and restores that perfect timing, which prevents that dreaded black screen.
That one feature is probably worth the price for anyone who's ever had to troubleshoot a flickering projector in a conference room.
Without a doubt. And for control, it also passes IR signals and RS-232 bidirectionally.
So my remote control still works on my cable box, even if it's 150 feet away in a closet.
Yep, it's the whole package.
Okay, so wrapping this up, we're looking at a device that solves the distance problem, keeps the 4K HDR quality, powers itself remotely, and solves all those handshake issues. And it costs, what, around $270?
Yeah, which for professional-grade gear that actually does what it promises is a really good price.
It really makes you think. We spend thousands on the perfect OLED screen. But without a little metal box like this one, that screen is basically just an expensive piece of furniture.
We all fall in love with the screen, but it's the invisible infrastructure, the extender, that's doing all the heavy lifting to make the experience possible.
Something to remember the next time you're watching a movie and it just works. That's all for this deep dive. Thanks for listening.